Precis. Nu. Aha. Tar en sekund.
Jag går för skojs skull och pratar.
Are you sure?
Already done.
I know. He disappeared. We already.
Hör ni mig?
Yes. We can hear you.
So,
And I think we're live on Facebook.
anything goes live on Facebook.
Yes.
So here we are.
Could you see?
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah.
No, I chicken out and I came back before I shared in my profile. So that's it's fine to chicken out sometimes. I discovered one can chicken out. I didn't know about that until yesterday.
Chicken out.
Chicken, like
chicken,
like chicken. Yeah, like when you're afraid, you can go, which I didn't know.
Okay. Well, good morning. Here we are.
Hi, everyone.
So, how did we say we were going to start this?
We said we were going to welcome anyone that might be having a look together with us or writing something or whatever, and we were going to welcome ourselves to this privilege of being able to connect as human beings.
Yeah.
For our hearts.
And welcome the love into the room.
And we're going to welcome love into this conversation.
Yeah.
The big one.
Huge. Crazy. So, and next up we were gonna do a short round, welcoming ourselves and sharing our intention for this conversation. Who would like to start?
I can go since the calling to this came so clearly one day. As I've been listening and speaking with you for a long time now. And I've been so touched, Sanna, by how courageous and how committed you are to living truly from your heart and trying to find that path in life. And the art of trying to listen and being able to detect what is what. Is this true love or is this something else? Or what is this? And why is all this happening? Or what is it saying? As I see it from my world when I listen to you, when we talk sometimes. So I felt so, I wanted, I felt I want this conversation to happen. So my intention is to be here as present as I can and to open up the heart as much as possible to be truly authentic and open. And it also, as a matter of fact, because I can really feel it, is invite whatever sensation comes to feel welcome. And what comes to me is gratitude to both of you from the beginning.
Thank you. Welcome.
The intention before I missed that part too is because in the beginning it was this two female just sharing, and then when Amit came into the picture, it was just, oh yes, 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 yes. So the intention is yes. Also Amit. for you to be with us here, with all the love that I have each time I feel, each time I see you, each time I hear your voice.
Thank you.
Postscript to intention.
I can pick it up. My intention for the call is actually to listen and to really be present. I'm extremely curious about this exploration of love, and what we were playing with before was that what if there was a third in the room, so to say, who is more of a witness. So that is really my intention, to honor that role and to stay in that listening mode for this conversation. And yeah, I'm very curious, and I'm really, really, really grateful to be doing this little experiment. I think it's very exciting to do it with both of you, especially. Thank you.
Welcome. My intention, I mean, I was feeling the call to join this, and yeah, I feel I have so much love for both of you, as you know, and you've been very important people in my life late last year, and yeah, in conversations like this and exploration, and at the same time, I've been feeling this, as you were saying, Maria Paz, like this pull to like really let the heart lead the last years. And just before, and yesterday I was like, but what are we going to talk about? And now sitting here already, feeling it in my body, it's like a pull towards this space in between us, like gravitation, how it's feeling like. And I'm feeling, so my intention with this, because I think that letting the heart lead, surrendering to the heart, is kind of just like surrendering to trust and to lead into the unknown, and just be present and see what wants to come from that space. So that is my intention with this call.
Yes, thank you. When we were playing yesterday, completely in the unknown about what wants to manifest here, we play with something that really touched me, because we had this kind of energetic, the power of being in the core. The core, how was it, the power of being something like that. But then you said something that really touched me and stayed with me, Amit, and it was like surrendering. And there's such a difference in quality in that. And I think that my greatest experiences of love with big capital L in life have been when the mind, when my knowing surrenders to some kind of trust, and then you just watch life deliver something so much greater than one could even have imagined. So this morning when I woke up, and there were a couple of questions that came to me. And one of them was, what is your greatest experience of love? That was the third one. But how about I throw that one first into the room and see what love says about that one?
What is your greatest experience of love?
Yeah.
I think there's so many experiences, episodes, of course, and relationships, and giving birth to my children. But I think one of my greatest experiences of love is, I've been going through so much this last year, like a personal transformation, and the deep pain that comes with divorce. And at the same time, I was losing my job at this workplace that I loved, with people that I loved. I realized, like, now, like, fuck, that was 3 really rough months. But at the same time, I could come to work and just pour my heart out. And it was just like being there in all that pain, and at the same time being held by these people in love. And that's a huge, like, for me, that's a very great experience, like, great, powerful. It was like surrender, and to be in that deep pain and this big love at the same time. It was like that's a very, those are moments when I'm like, oh wow.
It's amazing how those moments of, like when you're in the edge, yeah. How did it feel?
Yeah, it's an expanding feeling. Now came another moment, like I was really down just after New Year's, and I was lying on the couch and in so much pain and crying, and being held by 2 sisters via Zoom, just being witnessed. And that feels, it's like this human body is just like cramping, but at the same time expanding. And it's almost like being held on like clouds of love, or yeah. But it's also just this, like, it's really being witnessed in that pain, and you're on that edge. That's hard. Not easy. But it's transformative.
Yeah. We kind of both not try and die.
Yeah. Yeah. Without psychedelics.
That pure beingness of life. Yeah.
How about you?
I have so many love stories, and I thought, okay, why don't you just take something positive vibration from the beginning to the end instead of going to big drama like like you usually do when it comes to, because I mean, the biggest one was when I was going to tell my mother that my brother had killed himself. That's the biggest one, I think. That was something out of what happened there was just incredible. But there is one that came to me when I kind of invited my loving self to show me one when the vibration was kind and soft and nourishing from the beginning to the end. And the most extraordinary, I think it was when I was in the north of Mauritius and there had been a big storm. And I just walked out, the rain had stopped and sun was setting. That sky was in fire. I mean, sky was in fire. And the beauty of all that, it had been a hurricane, as a matter of fact. Oh, this is interesting. It's like the pain, you know, the extreme strength feeling that the hurricane had passed, and the beauty was just so indescribable. It was a beauty that I had never experienced. And I remember that there were no words, and just this feeling of a kind of like you are a, a glass, and somebody has put wine on it or water on it, and it just gets overfilled and it's just pouring over, and the only thing you want is to share with someone else, because the beauty is so undescribable that it overwhelms you. It's too much just for you. So that's a very strong experience of love. And the other one had to do with not knowing how to share that with my mother, and knowing that if I didn't tell her, she would suffer because she would be waiting for him. She was in another country and in a home, and she was very confused in her mind also. And knowing that if I told her, it would be like to put a knife. And I just didn't know what to do. And then in that slowing down, just not going there to deliver, now get it over with, just slowing down and waiting for the right moment. And she not asking for the first time in my life, I think she didn't ask about him before him. And I asked her, isn't there anyone else you want to know about? And she said, no. And then this little signal, that tells you, wait a minute, whose need is this? Is it her need or your need? She doesn't want to know about anyone else right now. So I left and I went to my hotel, and I was just, oh my God, how do I tell this? How does one tell something like this to a child? Because she was in a child state. And then waking up in the morning at a completely different time, putting on TV and seeing a film that delivered to me the message on how I could do it, being truthful, and it was with poetry, and it was with symbols. So I told her that he was in his paradise, and then she could come in contact with him by putting her fingers in the water, because he was in the water, his ashes were there, and yet not lying at all. Not a single word was a lie. And at the same time, she wouldn't be waiting for him because he needed to rest. He had achieved his dream, which was true. He had built a boat and he needed to rest. And then I asked her, do you understand what I'm saying? And she said, yes, sweetie, I do. And peace was there. Gosh, and then I said, oh, wow, how is this possible? I mean, the mind could just never have figured that out for me. At least not my little limited mind. It seems that there is something much, much greater that takes care of it when I kind of surrender. So that's why I love, Amit, your invitation to try the word surrender instead of that empowerment, which is sometimes so coming from the mind and the energy of the entrepreneur and doing and all of that. This is more like a receiving of love. Of love's touch. Yeah, something there. And I've come to see after many years that if you are incapable of receiving at any level, there's still some love work to do. And I felt like asking you, Sanna, what's your experience when it comes to receiving?
Good question. I feel like maybe I am, for the first time in my life, able to receive now, in a way I haven't been before. But I think it's demanded me to first surrender, to do all that dying. I've died many times this last year. It's, with and without psychedelics. Well, maybe, yeah. Okay, just for the record, I think actually it's been most powerful without psychedelics. For my ability to receive, I think it's nature medicine can help absolutely with the process. And I have great love experiences from that space as well. Spiritual one. But maybe it's helped me to build trust that there is something bigger, so that I'm more able, like prone to just surrender. Yeah. In other circumstances. And and now I was thinking that I think I've just because abundance, we've been talking a lot about abundance as well, this word, concept. And I think that is the core of it for me, to receive. But then you need to think that you're worthy of it. That's part of the surrendering. And with that comes self-love. It's very paradoxical until you've experienced it. And lately I've been able to really, really feel that abundance in my body. Like I had this moment when I was just sitting outside my small cabin in the sun and just watching this dandelion and the grass that was so green. It's like, the start of this beginning of the summer, that greenish color. And it was like this, it was like no cars, just so loud, like the insects and the birds. It was just like, whoa. And my love was working on a project on, I could see him to the left. And then I was sitting there just like, I don't need anything else than this moment right now. It was so rich, abundant, and just, yeah, it was bliss. And I think that was that's, yeah, like the receiving, just receiving what is, because it's always there.
Yeah.
And that's what came to me now.
Yeah. When you were sharing, it came to me, what is surrendering? And then you kept on sharing. And something I've noticed is opposing doesn't allow the surrendering. It's like, because I try to identify in my body, how do I surrender? To be opposing. And then there's kind of another layer there, which makes it very easy. And it's when you see that you're opposing and you don't oppose the opposition, it kind of opens like a door, or it's not a door, it's like a floor, another dimension comes in. And that's another way to, yeah, to receive what you already have. Because it's like you say, it's always there.
For anyone.
That's it. That's if one wants. That's the other amazing thing about love. We're so free to get what we want. Because if we don't want it, we don't get it. And if we want it, coming from a place of, I've never seen this, but coming from a place which is not authentic, receiving. It's kind of another want. Then we don't get it anyway. We don't get it there either. We don't realize we already have it. That's a better way to say it. Yeah. We don't realize because we get caught in the energy of wanting. But we can choose it. say, maybe better word to say, we don't want it. We choose something else. And well, at least that's what I've observed in me. Although I work with a lot of people and I get ideas on how things are, one can never know for real because there's so many of us. So to say that this stuff is general for everyone, that's not adequate in my experience. There's always surprises. That's part of love. The surprising part of love. Isn't that amazing? The surprising part of love.
Yeah. This works two questions in me. One question is like, because I can understand this can be quite provocative for some people. I'm curious to explore that. But also want to listen, open up for Amit. Is there anything alive in you that you want to share?
Thanks for hearing that. I have something bubbling. I'm sitting with a fascination around the words that become central in this. So it's like when we're talking around love, and then we're talking around receiving and surrender, and what my being was saying was that those are all, to me at least, they're more, let's say, feminine words than want and intention, and so there's which are more, let's say, masculine, more directive to me. I just noticed that, and it was there's something in that shift, also going to what you were saying there in the end, Sanna, that it could be provocative for some people, and why. It's just a reflection.
Thank you.
Something comes to me since most of my life I thought love was only that. The intention giving outwards, the energy going out, let's say, instead of the expansion to what is. They're also wanting others to have happiness or have abundance or well-being, I would say. Doing everything in my power. Now here comes the word power. And using all of my creativity and energy to serve for that, to conquer that. It was more like of a conquering. And what it showed, at least me, was that I was somehow not experienced in just receiving without doing. Being loved for just being. And since I had a very masculine structure, my mind and in my energy, probably in my hormones as well, who knows? Anyhow, I kind of felt such a deep, and I feel such deep compassion in the good sense of the word, feeling for, let's say, men that are more into that kind of vibration, because I know how it is to feel like the world opens, or there's something on the ground that opens and you fall in when you're not doing, to have what do you call that in English, to have the right to exist. The right to exist is so connected to the doing. And then I saw, wow, and I started to experience this other kind of receiving, which was very difficult for me, extremely. And then to realize, isn't life amazing when you can live in both? You can move and flow in both, because it's like you said, Sanna, in the beginning, there's something coming. I don't know if we were sending or it was before, but there's something coming from inside, that also there's this energy that moves, because it's about like a movement, like a rhythm, like a wave of life coming and going. And so beyond right and wrong, but I think it takes kind of something of a very subtle perception to be able to experience the receiving in the giving at the same time, because both are there. The receiving in the giving and the giving in the receiving. When the brain doesn't divide that anymore, that is amazing.
Giving is receiving.
Yeah, and receiving is
Receiving
giving.
is
It
giving.
was so difficult for me with the malish structure. It's the classical stuff when women come and share how they're feeling, and the male immediately wants to fix the problem, and that's, and then they get this horrible reaction, and you don't understand me and whatever, why, and the poor guy doesn't know what's going on, and the woman doesn't know what's going on, because she thinks he doesn't care, and he's caring the most he can in his way. And this is just very general, but
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
If you ask my ex-husband, he would say that I was the man in that aspect.
Yeah, and he probably
constant conflict. Can't you just listen? I want to fix someone else.
I love that you bring that up, Sanna, because I think that's the limitation of words. And when I say man, I read the masculine. When I say woman, I mean feminine. And these two.
We have them both.
Yeah. And we have, and it's so beautiful to discover when you have the conscious feminine and the unconscious feminine, and all its tricks, and the conscious masculine and the unconscious masculine with all its tricks and conditionings. And see how that can, especially the unconscious part, is so beautiful to see it. It's more beautiful to see it implode than explode. When it explodes, it usually, gets to others. And when it implodes, then you can see also experience big insights. You can experience the insights with the explosion as well, but the collateral damage is usually shameful and full of guilt in the best case or in the worst case. Yeah.
You were talking, I was had this really powerful experience this fall in an ayahuasca ceremony where I really had this experience of being in the source and understanding, okay, what's the meaning of being humans? And yeah, people can do whatever they want with this, but my experience was that it was like, okay, we're one, but being in the source doesn't, you can't experience yourself. It can't experience itself. It needs to experience itself through separation. And that's why, like, we're divided into like human beings and other sentient beings and trees and such. And so we can, like, I had this experience, like, that it was human beings were made for experiencing love. And that it's every human, like every person's birthright. That's where I understood that word, birthright, to be loved just for being. And I could feel this huge, huge sadness that there are so many who might never have experienced that. And therefore might not be able to believe in it. Talking about this provocative aspect of love and what we're like. And I totally understand that if you've never felt that, how can you believe in it? But that's really, I can feel it in my core, like, that's my biggest wish, that every person can have that experience. And that's also what came next was like this, I wanted, talking about this, the small love and the big love. Because the big love is there, that's what's there all the time that we can tap into, but we have different things, traumas, whatever, whatnot, belief systems that keeps us, obstructs us from stepping into that, which full respect and compassion for. But then I would have experienced like this smaller love. I'm spinning off in another direction here, I think, maybe we'll see, but like in a romantic relationship, what the narrative of love that we get through media and stories are often the small love. But and from my experience, like, okay, you can experience this big love with a partner or many, and then you want to keep it for yourself. You don't want to let it go because it's so huge and it's so beautiful, and you're just like, okay, let's how can I keep this to me and to us and let it have it stay forever? So you put a ring on someone's finger, or you get a child together, or you just like do all these things, and then that's like the recipe. That control is a recipe for making it smaller.
I love that. Thank you. That control is the recipe for making it small. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, taking it away.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, the small love is beautiful too. So there's no harm, but it's not the big. And it's hard work to go into a relationship and just like have this. I'm in one now, like really exploring this consciously. Like, okay, how can we not own each other and try to control this huge, huge love that we're experiencing, and just like find other ways than the normal ones to lean back on, just so that the love can just flow. Yeah.
I'm getting curious about Amit, and I had one little thing I wrote down, so it will just pass through. Came such a gratitude that we did this, because I had the same kind of I was so touched. As a matter of fact, when we saw each other last time, when I went down from the bus, I had this experience, the same that you are talking about, Sanna. Oh my God, this sadness about, oh my God, I so wish that every human being, child, baby, and even grown up, which are in pain, could experience this unconditional kind of love. And I also told myself the story, but if you haven't experienced this as a child, how on earth? And just a couple of days ago, I was listening to Richard Schwartz, who is an amazing psychologist. He works with internal family system. And he was sharing how in his work, the different parts of ourselves that we have seem to have different personalities, identities, experiences. There is that there anyway, no matter how horrible, tortured childhood. And he couldn't understand how that was possible. That love was there untouched anyway. And that it was possible to access it. And that just opened my heart totally. Oh my God. So it's there anyhow. It was coming in from inside. It's there with us, no matter what we experience. I just wanted to say that, so we won't get into the idea that I was also nurturing that either you've been loved as a child, even tiny, or and we've been loved tiny, big time by being alive, I think. So it was just a little parenthesis. So Amit, what's going on in your world?
Something around this words stand in the way, I think, here, but this little love and big love, and labeling that, it's again, it's a form of reduction and control. And so it's just sitting with searching for a way to say it, but just that the love is the same, but that it is the act of the holding, or as you put it beautifully before, Sanna, like this, the attempt to control, or the attempt to separate, which is the trap, or the move that we make to that also seems very to be conditioned into us in one way or the other. And yeah, but this no, that's it.
Maybe better words are the expanded love and the contracted love.
That's beautiful. Wow. You know what? That contracted love, just came equal fear. And if you really look at fear deeply, you see, I saw, speaking with a friend yesterday, if you look at it really, really, really close, like this close, it's just a cry, love. So it's a contracted. It's love asking for itself. Reconnect with itself. So thank you for those words today.
I feel like love asking for itself. I felt like a little baby, like holding a little baby, like oh. Oh.
If you ever try that with fear, which was what happened to me when I kind of didn't oppose it, although it was horrible in my sense, in my physical experience, the heart opened. And it just, compassion came like, oh, gosh, nobody wants to be with you. It's like a little baby, you know, that is crying. And nobody comes, yeah? No, we don't want to go there. That's just, So it's all love. It's just that we label it, like you say, Amit, and in that labeling, we go immediately to that field of right and wrong and good and bad, and that's kind of immediately another vibration. But when you both were sharing about romantic love, to call it, or love with children, or with other loved ones, I thought, what is it that is different there? What is it, the control? When does the control kick in? And it has to do with what you said, and the fear of missing out, the fear of losing. And that's the moment when we disconnect of source and fear. Because we're disconnecting from ourselves. We're disconnecting from the core. From the core of our being. I have no idea how much time we had, and I had something here about being kind to ourselves that came, being kinder to ourselves, which I also found challenging. And it took many, many years to see that there was not only one little me in there, there were so many different parts that I could also serve. Even with my male-ish structure, I could serve them. And with the feminine structure, it's not only one me that kind of needs self-love or compassion, service, help sometimes. There's so many there, different roles, I would say. So if we have some time, I don't know, maybe we don't. How about self-love? To put a label on whatever.
I just want to say thank you for bringing this labeling into the conversation, because yeah, it's a lot of truth in that. The label so much. I'm actually against labeling. I just want to, can we just
One more time, I didn't get that one.
But I'm actually against labeling. Like I'm like, oh, I don't want to label this relationship. I don't want to label this. I just want to. Can we just like free ourselves from all those labels and just let what is be? Yeah. So like self-love. What was the question? Or is it just the topic?
Just play with the word, because it's so many, levels.
Maybe it's also, maybe we can do that as a cliffhanger. Maybe it's meant. Maybe we're meant.
Maybe it's meant
to be the next conversation.
And this could be an example of not scarcity marketing, but loving marketing.
And being in service of others and people's time.
Yes, exactly.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
but a few words on self-love. It's tricky. It has to do with that birthright thing. When I can really, really believe that I am worthy of just existing. That I have the right, like, it's enough. I'm enough.
And maybe that's all there is.
Thank you for that one. To me, it came back to receiving, because it's there. It's what we are. All there is, and not opposed. And not opposing the opposite. Then self is love. Guys, really, I have no clue the time.
It's 10:30.
Oh my God.
Maybe we should just check out with this one, like, I don't know, round of gratefulness or something. Gratitude now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Eve. No, thank you, Eve. Thank you. I'm looking forward if any kind of continuous exploration is welcome. Would love that. Thank you so much, Sanna. Thank you so much.
And if anyone wants to listen to us exploring self-love or any other question on love, so please write a comment or let us know.
I wanted to pick up on the gratitude. I feel a lot of it. This was, for me, it was really interesting, and just putting yourself or myself in a listening mode just allows for nuances that, they're so subtle. So thanks for letting me join in this capacity, and just overall as well. Thank
you. Thank you for bringing that in, the listening, the people listening. That's part of the receiving. Thank you so much. Okay.
And I'm grateful, both of you, and just this, sometimes I refer to this expanded love as like this love lake, and you can step into it. I mean, you can't be there all the time, because I think it's not healthy to be there all the time, or maybe it is, but certain depths. I don't know. But this, like, how it feels like I've been, with the help of you guys, walked down into that love lake this hour and exploring the depths of it. So thank you for that. And yeah, and I mean, thank you for taking the stand as the divine masculine here. Loving witnessing in just holy space.
Yeah. So beautiful.
It's a dance. All right.
Okay.
I'll take us out.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye, you guys.
Whoever watched.
It's already gone.
Good. Perfekt. Vi hade sagt goodbye flera gånger.
Ja.
Vad